film Atonement, directed by Joe Wright, based on the book by Ian McEwan, does not conform to the classic narrative structure we are used to in modern films. Majority of films are designed in such a way that the audience suspends its disbelief for the course of the film. Within the world of the film, nothing should be unbelievable. This form of escapism is very popular in today's culture and is featured in all forms of entertainment. Atonement constantly subverts our expectations by forcing us as the viewer to question the narrator. This skepticism of our narrator, Bryony, is first fueled in the scene by the fountain, where we initially view Bryony's perspective and then the actual events from a more detailed look, which includes dialogue. Bryony is drawn to the window by the sound of a bee running into it. Then, as the long shot is extended to put Cecilia and Robbie in focus, we can only make out broad body gestures and have no audio to aid in our interpretation. Through Bryony's window, we only see Cecilia undress herself in front of Robbie, only to cut ahead and see Cecilia climb out of the lake near naked. This limited information, in accordance with Bryony's jealousy directed towards Cecilia due to her love for Robbie, leads to her bias against Robbie when she reads his letter. In the second recounting of the series of events, we follow the perspective of Cecilia. We experience the scene with many medium close-ups and regular close-ups, which aids in our experiencing the scene in a more human manner. We glean the status of their relationship from the short answers, long pauses, and the glances they make towards each other. Their relationship is further solidified in the library scene, where they have an intimate encounter. The dialogue further supports Bryony's unreliability when Cecilia states,
"I wouldn't necessarily believe everything Bryony tells you."
This is a message that stays true throughout the entire film. Bryony is an unreliable narrator, and her perspective will be clouded with bias and jealousy. In this second scene, the whole event is revealed, and we, as the audience, begin to question Bryony as a reliable narrator, reinstating our disbelief of the events as we realize that everything we see may not be true. The second act follows a more standard structure. It features Robbie in the war trying to make his way back to Cecilia, only to arrive at Dunkirk. At this point, Bryony is working as a nurse, and thus we believe the narrative will remain true, as it is believed that Bryony is no longer the narrator. The third act erases everything the second act set up in terms of what to believe. First, the scene in which Bryony apologizes to the loving couple reinforces our understanding of what happened in the second act. We believe everything worked out. The close-up shots and visceral acting make the scenes believable as a real event in the history of the story. In the final act of the film, we hear that every event we have witnessed was written out by Bryony in her novel titled Atonement. With this revelation, the past events are called into question. Can the plot be believed? Every aspect of the film is subject to the perspective of Bryony. It may even be that Cecilia and Robbie did not have a strong relationship, and yet Bryony portrayed it as one due to either her guilt or that she could not see its flaws due to a young perspective. Through this unique narrative structure, the film Atonement provides a new perspective on, perspective. From the get-go, we are told not to trust our narrator, and are constantly questioning the truth of the situation we are witnessing. This is how the author has positioned the reader to adopt a particular narrative perspective, through the clever use of point of view and examples of those perspectives, faults and flaws.